Happy New Year, Novi. Welcome to Update Novi. I'm your host, Cheryl Walsh-Malloy, and I have a co-host today.
Your co-host?
I have a co-host. It's not a special guest. He is a co-host.
See, starting 2026 off right with the correct title for it.
Absolutely. Yes. Promoted.
Yes. We have to change the charter. It's going to say mayor and co-host.
I feel like a sandwich in between the two hosts on either side. Yes, duly noted.
Mayor Justin Fisher is with me. Welcome, Mayor.
Good to be back.
We do have a special guest, though.
We have a very special guest today, all the way from the south of the border. He just flew in, got his passport stamped at the border of 8 Mile.
I didn't know if you're going to let me in or not, but yes.
We have a very special guest, Brian Turnbull, who is the mayor of the city of Northville. So welcome.
Welcome, Mayor.
Great to be here. You know, we've always had relationships between Novi and Northville. I think the high school went to our schools until like 1968 or so.
I know,
so we've always worked together, and Justin and I have been talking on different meetings. We should do even more, and our people and our councils and different committees on pathways have been working together. So we thought this was the next optic that we're working together, because we do all the time, and we have background together also in business and in life, and now in the municipal world.
Exactly.
You know, and I think people in Novi love Northville, right? For many things. But y'all have the downtown that Novi doesn't have. And I think for the better part, I will say, of 50 years, Novi has been envious, if you would, of that downtown, and tried many times unsuccessfully prior to us, obviously.
Right.
But
prior to me being mayor.
Prior to you. But you know what? And as Novi grew up, Northville maintained its roots in that downtown. And we have now realized the envy doesn't need to be envy. It needs to be partnerships. It needs to be, you know what you have,
Absolutely.
we don't have. What we have, you don't have. And it just makes this whole area work.
Working together, it's a better whole. You know, Justin and I have been talking about this. How do we do that? Northville's been that touch point since the mid-1800s for Livonia, for Novi, for this whole area from today, the 275 to South Lyon to 96 to M14. We're the downtown and the placemaking area for about 300,000 people. So it's just not Northville. You know, we don't have that many people there, but we've always, especially with Novi, coordinated together on a lot of different things, whether it's the school systems or the downtown, Novi businesses in Northville. We were all one kind of community back in the day. So yeah, we have tried to invest in the future. In Northville, we always say our strengths are our downtown, our schools, and Novi has great schools. You know, we've been 2 of the last 3 years the top in the state, and now Novi.
We keep flip-flopping. That's a great position to be in.
So we're always in the top 5 or 10 out of 618 schools. It's the community, so that brings people to the community, whether it's Novi or Northville. The schools, the topography. You know, I know this whole area. We're kind of together. We're the highest point in Wayne County. We have the only lake in all of Wayne County. I know Oakland County has all these lakes. There's only one lake in Wayne County, and we have it in Northville. So
I'm trying to think of where's Northville's lake?
So it's in Highland Lakes area. It used to be called Curtis Lake. It was Yerkes Lake, Silver Springs Lake. So that is the only natural glacier lake. So people come to Northville for the topography and the hills and the parks. They come for the schools, and they come for the downtown. And that's the same for Novi. It's kind of like one downtown between the two communities.
So Brian, what I love is you always bring a lot of history. I say, you know, I'm a lifelong resident of Novi, but I don't have the history that you have of the area or of your specific town.
Are you a lifelong resident of Northville?
Give us a little brief background. I think you have some history in the local government, all of that.
Absolutely.
Are you a lifelong resident?
So my family's been around 5 generations in Northville. And in that time, at the turn of the century, in 1899,
Which century?
1899, my grandfather went to Boston College and got an electrical engineering degree. He came back and started the Northville Electric Company. He wired Northville originally on the electricity. My other grandfather was the barber in Northville, so he cut everybody's hair, including Henry Ford when he came to town and others. So I've grown up with kind of that history. They were both kind of historians of town, both business owners. One grandfather, the barber, was in charge of the Democratic Club. There wasn't too many at that time. And my other grandfather was in charge of the Republicans. So getting back to politics, I've been growing up in that atmosphere, looking at both sides all the time. And as we look, it's all about the community and what we're doing going forward. My father was involved with an awful lot of things in Northville, and they used to call him Mr. Northville. He had a coat and what have you. He did everything but be the mayor out there and all the committees through the years. They always wanted me to get involved. I always helped behind the scenes. I was in business, like the two of us used to be Ford people at one time and the whole bit. In life, my parents always said, learn, do, and give back. This is my chance to give back. So I've done some learning around here in all our schools and through business and Ford and others, and now I'm trying to give back. And we're working together on the next generation, which is kind of exciting for us.
How long have you been mayor, Brian?
It seems like forever. So I'm on my 4th term. It's 2-year term since 2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I would love somebody to run against me sometimes so I could really say different things, but no, it's been a great opportunity. And we are doing things that they've talked about for generations, my parents, my grandparents. As we all know, to have these initiatives happen takes time, energy, and money, and a lot of time from a lot of different people. I can kind of help and see where we're going. We have between 6 and 7% of all of our populations on task forces and committees. That's like Novi or Livonia, 6,000 or 7,000 people, you know. So as a percentage, a lot of people are involved with a lot of things. So we can get things done because everybody's doing a lot of work. Even as we get ready for our Bicentennial in 2027, which should be a great celebration. Back in 1927, we had the largest gathering in the state's history in downtown Northville, tens of thousands of people for our centennial celebration. Henry Ford and his vagabond group came here and he filmed the whole thing, and he gave us a lot of stuff that he would have put in Henry Ford Museum and Greenfield Village. They weren't open yet. He was getting all that stuff. That was part of the parade. So we have been looking at that. At one time, little old Northville, the city, was number 2 in economics in the state of Michigan. Number 1 was Detroit. Number 2 is Northville. People say, oh, how can that be? We had all these rivers. The rivers were the power, you know, on all the water wheels that went around. We had the largest school and church furniture factory in the world at one time. We built the first single-wing plane called the Stinson in Northville. We had pasteurized milk. We have condensed milk. We have the patents for that in Northville. The original vanilla abstract from South America, brought in from an old mayor, Con Langfield. He was the first kind of millionaire in Northville. We had the apples. We'd do thousands of barrels of apples every week in the summer. Northville was a happening place. If you kind of close your eyes, what was going on? We had 4 stagecoach stops. And I know you have Grand River, you know, every 10 miles between here and Grand Rapids, the stagecoaches would come on the old plank road coming through Novi. But we went to Pontiac, we went to Detroit, we went south. We were a train depot and a rail stop there. We had 2 trolley lines that came in. So Northville was economically happening at the turn of the century, 1900 to about 1920. In fact, in 1892, there was a national book that said The Ideal Suburban Village, and it talked about Northville, Michigan, because we had the topography, the lakes, and you know the rivers, and that power, and we had that downtown. Our downtown is the same as it's been in.
What would have been the
1850s.
population around that turn of that century?
So really, people ask me about that. Our downtown was basically the same in 1850, 1860 that it is today. The population was about 3,000, 3,500. In the city proper, we're only about 6,200 people in the city.
You've doubled in size.
Yeah, doubled in size.
In a couple hundred
but
years.
The geography of downtown and the businesses are exactly the same. And the township grew up around us, and Novi grew up, and even Livonia grew up.
So it's interesting that because you and I can think back to this institutional
Not to 1850.
knowledge. No, but I'm talking about shows that you watch, movies, etc. And we know Novi was founded as a farming community, which would make sense. There wasn't a town or a downtown because all the farmers would have went to Northville,
And
right?
the topography
built up around the
wasn't
rivers.
great for
Exactly,
farming because the
exactly.
glaciers came through here 10,000 years ago, and that's why we're this highest point. It stopped ever so slightly, so we have the hills. It's flatter out there. We have gravel pits all around Northville because that's where the glaciers stopped and deposited the gravel.
Interesting.
So it was flatter over. We had great sports teams in the early 60s because we had a lot of farmers, really strong guys, you know, linemen and other things from Novi.
Right.
And we had others in Northville. And together, I think a team in like 1962 won all their football, basketball, and baseball games. A guy called Steve Juday was the All-American quarterback and went to Michigan State. And he's still around, and he talks about that
We got to be
team.
careful. You got two Spartans on the couch
Yeah,
now,
I
too.
know
He
that.
played with my uncle. That's how I knew.
So I'm a big Michigan
State.
guy, but
see.
my brother played for Michigan State at one time. He was a linebacker with Bubba Smith, and he thought he was big coming from this area. He's about 6'2" and 225. He went up there, and Bubba Smith's about 300 and 6'8" and
Was this in
bigger
the
and faster.
mid-60s?
Yep, 1966 he went up
He
there.
would have played with my uncle too.
I'll be dang, so we'll have
Tony
to look
Angel.
at that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Tony Angel.
Yeah, in fact, he went up there because of our All-American quarterback that went up there. Steve
Too
Juday
funny.
brought him back
Yeah.
to Michigan.
So, you know, I love this history, and I love obviously your passion for it, you know.
Appreciate that.
And I think what's surprising to me is, and I don't want to say we struggle, because we do know our history, but hearing the history through your eyes of Northville and how rich and different it is, again, we envy that, right? And nobody, it's just different. We've only been a city for 56 years, right?
But it was, you're part of, it's all the whole community.
Yeah.
Novi and Northville. So we're celebrating our Bicentennial. You're part of that. You should be part of what's going on. You'll publicize that because you were part of that. Even Little Livonia and all the areas out to South Line. We were that downtown. So we're doing a lot of different things for our Bicentennial because we were that first lumbering area and with the mills, and then with the grist mills, and then the Industrial Revolution. We're going to have a lumberjack show right on the water, you know, every weekend. We're going to have a trolley with about 10 different stops. We're going to have walking tours and different placards on the different buildings.
You're doing the not renovation, but a rehabilitation of the cemetery and support
Absolutely.
of that
So
as well.
we have a cemetery restoration team that has redone. We have one of the oldest cemeteries called Oakwood because it has the oldest oaks around. We have Revolutionary War veterans. Revolutionary War veterans fought in 1776 along with Civil War veterans. That will be one of the stops. That'll be one of the 10 stops. We're pretty fired up about that. We are reinventing ourselves on what that is all about. We're putting wrought iron fencing, like I say, and different history markers in there.
This kicks off next year.
This kicks off, yes, 2027 from about Memorial Day past Labor Day because we have a Victorian festival in September, so it'll go through the summer of 27.
So really all
It was
summer.
a couple, I think it was last summer, you invited Victor and I to join you and George, the city manager of Northville, and we were kind of driving around, and Brian was previewing all the exciting things that they're doing in support of the Bicentennial. So I'm excited for you guys. I think Novi residents need to, you know, stay attuned to what's going on and go help you guys celebrate with you. So like you said, it's a big
and
part
I'm excited for
of
the
our
whole
history
community.
as well.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
is us, it's kind of Livonia, it's the township, we were, in 1827, we were registered as a community, and it was out of Plymouth Township. We were the North Village of that. Usually it's a 6x6 square mile area. We split off the North Village, thus Northville, back in 1827 from that big Plymouth Township, because the township is 6x6, and you guys are what? You're pretty close to that 6x6. Livonia 6x6. The 6x6 square mile area is Northville Township, Plymouth, and Plymouth Township. All four of those combined to that.
In your 6 square miles now.
Our 36 square miles. That is correct. So that we're
36
envious
square miles,
of your dirt and your, you know, what you can do, because we are very limited. There is no new dirt. I'm always envious of people with land. We don't have land, so we have to reinvent ourselves. Like when you and I were driving around, we are reinventing where the river went under the ground through Norfolk Downs because they didn't have the space. It was the fairgrounds for Wayne County. It was the larger fair than the state fair at the time. I know you have the state fair now here in Novi, Michigan. At one time, that was the state fair. They buried the river. There's a 1908 Swamp Act that said you could bury a river to have more land. They did that. We just uncovered that. It was underground for most of the last century. We opened it up. We have a bioswale park on either side, so now we're absorbing water instead of speeding it up and going down. And we were very fortunate with that park that you and I looked at, which is now done. 49 acres. There wasn't a tree on that 49 acres. We brought in 1,400 trees. We opened that river. It's a bioswale on either side. We're very fortunate from the state of Michigan, from M Parks. We just won the award for all the work that everybody's done on that.
Where is this actually located?
This is right there on 7 Mile and River Street by Custard Time, by where McDonald Ford used to be, by Hines Drive. It connects right to Hines Drive and the trails there. It's a 10.3 acre bioswale park.
So you have,
sometime we'll go look at it.
You have this very rich history in Northville, but obviously a lot of changes are going on right now, right? You daylighted the river. You were just telling us about that. A big part of that project has to do with the downs, which came down recently, some traffic things. Tell us about the next 10, 15, tell us about what's going on now that's taking guys into the future,
So we're doing all these things
Novi residents want to know.
So for Novi, Justin and I are working together doing pathway systems that connects all of us here, really in southeastern Michigan. We're on the South Oakland County Mayor's Board. I'm the chair of the Conference of Western Wayne. I'm the only one, the city, we're in 2 counties. It's a great opportunity sometimes. But
you can marry people in 2 different counties. I'm jealous.
I didn't know when I became the mayor, I'm the justice of the peace. So I've married 88 couples so far in the whole bit. I know you do the same thing over here, but I see in the future these connections. So we've talked about all these different pieces in downtown Northville. We have 5 different sections of a river walk that goes through Northville. We're very fortunate. We've been supported nationally and from the state and the counties because we're the last conduit on the state's pathway system. Going south from Northville, you'll be able to go all the way to Ohio in different ways through the 275 corridor and M14 corridor. We're connected to Dearborn going down. But going north is what I'm really excited about. Justin and I have had our council members talk to each other and different committees work together on how we connect to Novi in the future. So we are going to connect to where 8 Mile is, where our kind of Mill Race Village, and then we're going to come up Griswold to by Guernsey Farms, up the river, all the way to your Rotary Park. Once we do that, we get to 8 Mile. That connects to pathways going out to Mayberry State Park, which connects to pathways on the trail system to go to Mackinac City. So I'm excited. So from Novi, you theoretically should be able to get on this pathway system, walk into Northville, bike into Northville, do however you're going to mobilize yourself to get there, go all the way to Ohio, or all the way to Mackinac City.
That's crazy.
But it's endless, the opportunity. So I'm excited about that. Justin and I working together and our people working together. And we mentioned that, and they jumped on it. I thought that's great. We can't do it, but we can help make it happen. And Oakland County, that Justin and I are involved with from the Mayor's Association, they are going to do a pathway all the way down 9 Mile. So that's going to connect from 75 all the way out to South Lyon on Pontiac Trail. So what we're talking about, the pathway system from Northville to Rotary Park, goes right across that. So we are putting
Novi and Northville right in the middle there.
Absolutely. We're excited. I'm excited about the next generation. I see Justin and I getting ready for the next folks, and we're doing everything we can. And the relationship that we have between Northville and Novi, I think is outstanding. It's the best it's ever been. And I give that up to Justin. He's reached out to me and we've been at a lot of meetings. We're looking at the future. It's not what we're doing today, but what can we do together?
Well, I think Cheryl hit it on the head there, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that you have that we don't, we have that you don't, and the more we can collaborate and use the regional resources.
Your residents win, businesses, ours the same.
And one thing that Northville is very good at doing is reaching out to those federal, state, county resources and getting a lot of grant money, because a lot of the projects you're doing right now have come and been funded through outside sources.
Absolutely.
And so the best way to get some of those at the state level is when they see regional partnerships. So you go holding hands, Novi and Northville saying, hey, we want to connect the state. That's when it really puts us a leg up in those application processes.
And that helps SEMCOG, which I'm fortunate enough to be on the executive team, and Justin's involved. there's 7 counties. When Novi and Northville are working together, they're looking at the betterment of both counties and both communities.
Right.
That helps. We've gotten regionally in this area support from SEMCOG. We've gotten support from the counties, both Oakland County and Wayne County. We're the only one. It's like I say, it's a great opportunity working with both counties, but we get that support from the state level. The governor's office gave us $910,000 for a new ADA entryway on our Ford Field. We have in Northville, which is the community between Novi and Northville, the original Ford Field. Henry Ford came out to Northville, had his honeymoon in 1880. He and Claire walked up and down the river, loved it so much. He ended up, when he could, he bought this land and he dedicated Ford Field, where we played all our football games to 1962, where we had all those great football players from Novi and Northville. Steve Juday played his football at Ford Field. It's never been renovated. We are in the midst of renovations. We have a new playscape being put up. I know you have great playscapes and green spaces in Novi. We're trying to catch up to that. We're going to do bathrooms. We have an overlook, so people, kind of a placemaking area, every day they can see the sunrise coming up over Ford Field. And the topography, it rises up so you can see that whole area. And we have a waterfall system where the Randolph Drain, which we have 4 counties worth of water that come through Northville: Livingston, Oakland County, Wayne County, and Washtenaw County. There's a Randolph Drain that comes down like Taft Road from Novi, that comes down 8 Mile and then Randolph Street. There was, where it comes into the Rouge, over the years, it put a big V in there. All the erosion was about an 8 or 10 foot V, and all the trees were collapsing. Now we have cooperation. They saw Justin and I working together. So Wayne County and Oakland County, there's a drain authority for the Randolph Drain, which is Novi's involved, Northville's involved, and the 2 counties. They're putting a $750,000 waterfall system in, so the erosion won't happen anymore. And it's a great placemaking area.
I was going to say it'll be beautiful.
It will be. So it's not only functional, but it's called Serenity Point, so people can just sit there. So that's, again, it almost got the cues from Justin and I working together. The counties are working together, and it's a betterment for everybody.
Real quick, tell us about the Downs. Justin, Mayor alluded to that a little bit. I haven't been down there behind Main Street in a while, but how's it taking shape? What's the community say, and when's it going to be done?
I'm very pleased on the progress. I'm doing what I'm doing because at one time, over 600 units were going to be jammed in there with no green spaces. That's why I engaged to this next level, and I'm in the position that I'm in, and a lot of people helping. A lot of people wanted to do that. We have all this coordination of 6-7% of people. When I went to lead on the future and our way forward plan, I made 115 families sign a document. If I was going to get involved, they're going to get involved. So that's why we have, that's one of the reasons we have a lot of support on different things. So to answer your question, with that, it's gone from 0% green space to 33% green space. We opened up a river and a bioswale park on either side, which helps all the flooding all the way down to the Detroit River, all the way to Dearborn. So I'm very pleased about that. We have a 2-acre park right in the middle of town behind the Presbyterian Church, a 3-tier park that we will engage through Parks and Recreation on activities. Both that bioswale park and the city park in the middle will be activated by Parks and Recreation. They are our parks. I'm excited because it's diversification in the homes. We have 3 levels. One, we have for young professionals. We have an apartment structure, and it'll be from 1 bedroom and small ones all the way to 3 bedrooms that you want, different price ranges. You'll have condos, you'll have townhomes right on the park, so you can open your door and you'll be in the park. We have 37 individual homes for young families, so it's kind of like 3 demographics. And the homes are starting to be built already. The structure for the apartments will be done by May, and they'll be selling those. The townhomes, 12 of the original 18 are sold, and people are living in there already. It's amazing because a year ago last February, they were running races still. They were running races on the
you're
downs.
right.
And
I remember.
I went to some of the last races. The change is unbelievable. And we're putting, like I think we mentioned earlier, we have the first roundabout in Wayne County to get people in and out of there.
You're finally catching up to us.
We're finally catching up. I know. Oakland County has about 45, Washington has 60. It's the first roundabout in Wayne County. We're doing a second one off of Hines Drive that the road goes directly into the whole sub for Northville Downs. So that will help dissipate traffic.
I had the pleasure of going through that. I texted you the other day when I went through your roundabout.
Absolutely.
It's a very nice roundabout.
I've seen people go in there and just go around and around. They're so excited.
You know what? I did. I was with someone. I'm like, I'm going to do the whole thing and then go where I want to go. So
absolutely. So we're excited.
Thank you for not sending the police after me.
Absolutely. They report to me last time I looked, but I get a get out of jail free card once. But so from that, excited about the future there, because that's the diversification, and it's right in downtown. Also, from that area right up to town, there's a street called Katy Street. We are going to develop the entryways welcoming you to town. So we're on some grants to redo that too. So we're excited. By our bicentennial, this is next year.
Right.
This should all be done. So the Bioswale Park is done. You'll be invited, both of you, for the ribbon cutting of that park. That'll be in the spring. So we talked about this, and when you and I did that drive about the Magical Mystery Tour that they call it, it was all coming into fruition. Now it's real.
Yep.
You know, we talked about it, but the next phase is all these pathways and how we connect to Novi.
I'm a visual person. You were explaining it, and I was trying to follow it, but now that I drive down there and I can see it going vertical, it's very exciting.
Absolutely.
Very topical too, because we do a lot in Novi recently, discussions on what is the right type of housing. How do we make sure that we protect the green space, but we also give different people at different stages of their lives opportunities to enjoy the amenities and live in Novi as well. So something we always struggle with, and some people are for it, some people against it, but you do your best you can to balance all those competing forces, right? So, and I think you guys have done a very nice job.
The problem is our dirt is worth a lot because we don't have any dirt. So housing is a little bit more, but I'm excited about the diversifications. There's different levels, from studio apartments to homes and condos and townhomes in between. Ours might be a little bit more because our dirt's more. Might be the same thing there out here. There's some subsidy homes around us in the township in Northville. In the city, we have our senior center, which we own too, so we have subsidy on some of those owners. We want our seniors to age in place. And that was part, you talked about history before. My parents helped build, it's called Allen Terrace. An old mayor of Northville was Mr. Allen, and friends of my parents. They helped get established this senior center, which now we have 101 rooms and maybe 150 people in there. That's so people can stay and age in place. It's very reasonable because we built it, we own it, we maintain it, we still own it, and we get support from Oakland County and Wayne County on that. So it's a great opportunity owning a center like that. But,
we do as well, and I think it's super important to provide. People have lived in the community all their life, right? That's
and they
home,
want to stay.
and they want to stay.
Absolutely.
So providing some of those opportunities. What else you got? Or are we good? This was a lot. This was a lot to take in. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, next January maybe we'll have your back.
Okay.
Because I would love to hear by then all you got planned for your bicentennial, because
absolutely
people in Novi do assimilate with the downtown in Northville.
Well, and then
parades,
don't forget, a lot of our residents, that's one thing. You're lucky to have one city and all your residents go to Northville schools. I'm in a much different position, right? We have a very large city I have residents that go to Northville schools, that go to Walled Lake schools, that go to South Lyon schools, that go to Novi schools. So I have 4 school districts that represent us. And there's a lot of people on our south side that have Northville mailing addresses and kind of feel like they're Novi residents.
Call it the Noville between Northville and
we're
Northville.
going to talk about that.
We just want to make sure, we want to promise
I need a favor.
that you're not going to annex some of our businesses, like Living and Learning and Guernsey's.
Oh, I understand. So everybody, sometimes I get people and legislators call me and go, oh, we gave some more money, we got a grant for Living and Learning. I thank them tremendously. I go, you know that's in Novi, but
Wait, say that again. You know that's in Novi. Can we, because Guernseys, can you just say here, Guernseys is in Novi.
yes, the locality, the mailing address might be, they go by Northville, but it is in Novi. And Guernseys used to be downtown north of the McGuires on Main and Center at one time, back in 1949, and then they needed more room, and their dairy.
But that's why this relationship isn't so important, because there is that. It's not even just that we butt each other. We really have overlap in these situations, whether it be school districts, the mailing addresses, all that. So,
and a lot of the residents in Northville, they're working in Novi, and you're coming to socialize sometime. And you have great places to socialize and restaurants here, but they want that downtown feel. On events, we open and close streets and the whole bit. But it's been exciting. It's, again, the whole area, when we're doing our celebration for our bicentennial, it's the community, and it's a better community. It's a larger community. It's a township. It's Novi, because we were all one. At one time, we looked at coming together between Northville and Northville Township, and it was just within a couple votes either way. But now that the township, like yourself, have grown tremendously, that will never happen. But us working together, it's for the benefit of all in the community, all three.
Well, we appreciate everything you do. Obviously, George, your city manager as well. Amazing things going on in Northville. Appreciate the partnership. We didn't even touch on things like mutual aid and those important public safety things.
You're right.
People don't recognize how kind of connected we are behind the scenes, but we love having you on the show and hearing all of this. And looking forward to celebrating with you next year.
Thank you very much. Great to be over in Novi, north of Northville. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you,
very
Mayor.
much. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Mayor.
You bet.
Thank you, Mayor Fisher. And thank you for joining us. I hope you, like me, learned a little bit more about our neighbor to the south. It was very enriching for me, and very animated. You did a great job. You did a great job as always.
I did okay.
Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.